So yesterday we had covered or we had completed the entire incorporation part. We studied section 3, 3A. We finished section 7. Yesterday we went ahead and discussed the incorporation of OPC, section 8 and section 9. Today we will be covering section 10 and then we will be covering section 4, section 5 and section 6. So ये हमारे आज के लेक्चर का एजेंडा है और फिर जो हमारा नेक्स्ट लेक्चर होगा उसमें हम ये सारे चीज़ों को कवर करेंगे और हमारा ये पूरा पोर्शन मेजर पोर्शन कंप्लीट जाएगा। ये सब तो बहुत बेसिक प्रोविजंस है। सो आई वुड रिक्वायर अनदर 2 लेक्चर्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम टुडेज लेक्चर टू फिनिश दिस चैप्टर। सो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो, हमने कल जो चीज़ों को कवर किया था, we had started with section 3, 3A, section 7 we have covered it all, right? Then 1% company we started yesterday. Then section 8 company we covered all the provisions. Thereafter we did section 9. Now, if you remember, I had given this example that if today you purchase shares of L&T, is L&T binding on you or not? So I mistakenly had explained that in section number 9, but it is the provision of section number 10. So please read section number 10. This example is apt here. So I have changed the example. यहाँ से मैंने example को delete कर दिया and I have put it here. So just see that the memorandum and articles when registered, it will bind the company and the members to the same extent as if they were respectively had signed by the company and by each member, and contains the covenants on its part to observe all the provisions of the memorandum and the articles. Also, just see that this can be one of the MCQ question for you, that all the monies which are payable by any member to the company under the memorandum or articles shall be debt due from him to the company. तो वो कंपनी का मतलब कंपनी को उधार वसूली करने जैसा हो जाएगा, ठीक है? दैट विल बी अ डेट फॉर द कंपनी. सो लेट्स से देयर इज अ कॉल्स इन अरियर, तो मेंबर के लिए वो डेट है. And also if you see this, that it will bind the company as well as the members. So when Ronak becomes the members of L&T in 2021, the memorandum of association, which was originally signed in 1938 by Mr. Larsen and Mr. Dubrow, it will bind the same way to Ronak as it had bound Mr. Larsen and Mr. Dubrow or any other shareholder of L&T in subsequent years. Got it? Is this clear? Okay, so this is one change I wanted to make. So I've explained this. And then we did the case studies, right? The case studies also explain the same thing. Now, if you see, we have section 10A. So section 10A is amendment. Section 11 is deleted, right? Vineet has asked a doubt with respect to section number 10. All the money is payable. So this I'm talking about the calls. Your not application money, but the allotment money. First call, second call. Okay. So when you subscribe the memorandum of association, you, and in case it's an unlimited company, then whatever money is payable, discharging towards the debt of the company. And then same way, if it's a company limited by guarantee, then whatever amount is guaranteed. So that will become part here. Okay. So just see, this is there. Now let's do section number 10A. Now understand one thing. We had section number 11. Now section number 11 is omitted. Okay. So section 11 is now omitted. It's not even there in your module, but just for your understanding, I'm telling you, section 11 is omitted and section 10A was inserted. So I've written a wrong spelling there. Section 10A is inserted. Okay. Now just see, when I say section 10A, So section 10A, we discuss about it's the commencement of business, etc. So this concept was again introduced in the year 2019. So what does it say? It says a company incorporated after the commencement of Companies Amendment Ordinance 2019 and having a share capital. Okay, so this is for the company which will incorporate after this ordinance. So let's presume any company which has been incorporated after 2019 and which has a share capital shall not only commence any business or exercise any borrowing power unless. So what does this mean? That the company which is incorporated after 2019 and which has share capital, that company cannot commence any business. Also, that company cannot exercise any borrowing power unless they comply with these two things. And what is the compliance? The compliance is that a declaration needs to be filed. So if you see, there are so many declarations which needs to be filed. Okay. So the declaration is to be filed by the director within the period of 180 days of the date of incorporation of the company in such form and which is verified in such manner as may be prescribed with the registrar that every subscriber to the memorandum has paid the value of the shares agreed to be taken by him on the date of making such declaration. So basically, the declaration will be given by the director within 180 days that all the subscribers have paid the money. So whatever amount was subscribed by them, all the subscribers have paid the money to the company. Also, the company has filed with the registrar a verification of registered office as provided in subsection 2 of section 12. So what does it mean? It says that basically this is you have to intimate the registrar of company that where is your registered office. So earlier it was you just had to provide that this is my registered office. So it was as simple as if I say that Dhaval's address, I want to keep my company as the address of my company as Dhaval's address. What will I do? I'll just put Dhaval's address और वो company का incorporation वहां पे हो जाएगा. और सारे के सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो के वो धवल के एड्रेस पे आएंगे. इट इज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन until unless धवल goes to ROC and say that why you are sending me this notice, there is no company registered here, there will be no problem. But now government had seen that lot of shell companies were formed. A lot of shell companies were formed. What is shell company? Basically, these are inactive companies which have been incorporated but not for any purpose, right? These are incorporated, वो पैसा घुमाने के लिए companies को incorporate करके रखा. So all these things were done. So this way, there were quite of these shell companies were there which ROC had striked off. The ministry had striked off that these companies are shell company. These are not working. Also, ROC noticed, ministry basically noticed that in one particular address you have hundreds of company registered at the same place. So which was not actually correct. So when you see on the portal, you'll find that there are, let's say 1 lakh companies registered, but out of 1 lakh companies, the active companies are only, let's say 30,000. So 70% of the companies were found like this. So when they did the research, they investigated and they found that this is the issue. Therefore, this amendment was introduced where they said that once the company is registered, the company will have to provide the verification of the registered office. Now, what you need to do, you will have to provide. So basically at the outside of every registered office, the name of the company should be, this should be there. The nameplate should be there. So now you have to send this nameplate to, yeah, basically you'll click the picture of the premise with this nameplate. You will show the picture of the cabin where one of the director or one of the company secretary or company secretary of the company or one of the director is sitting there. You'll have to click that picture and you have to upload that. Also geotagging, you have to find what is the longitude, what is the latitude, and accordingly you'll have to mention all those details, right? So that way ROC will get verified that it's the genuine company which is working there and it's not sorry, it's not the shell company which has been incorporated. So now do you understand why this section 10A was inserted? कि एक ही एड्रेस पे पता चला 100 कंपनीज रजिस्टर्ड है, हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पर वो 100 कंपनी का नेम बोर्ड भी चाहिए हमें. और हमें एक टेबल डेस्क वैसा चाहिए जहां पर एक डायरेक्टर बैठा हुआ हो, वो फोटो क्लिक कराएगा और वो भेजेगा कि हाँ यहाँ पे कंपनी एक्चुअल में है। तो सिर्फ हमें नाम के लिए आप मत दो कि यहाँ पे आपका रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस है, वी ऑल्सो नीड। तो ये वेरिफिकेशन के लिए इसको इंसर्ट किया गया था। सो नाउ दिस इज सेड दैट until unless all the subscribers pay their call money plus the company has done the verification of its registered office, the company will not be allowed to exercise any borrowing power or commence the business. Guys, is this clear? Guys, is this clear? ये वाला पॉइंट क्लियर बा? सो सिंपल सा पॉइंट है जो आपको यहां पर ध्यान रखना है, वेयर इट इज दैट अ कंपनी कैन नॉट commence business or exercise borrowing power if all subscribers have not paid their call money plus the declaration is not filed with the ROC. Secondly, the registered office, right? The verification of the registered office is not done by the company. Okay, guys, is this clear? So you need to keep this thing in mind. Then they say that if the company defaults in this, then again there is a penalty. So this is fine. And where no declaration is given, right? Where no declaration is given, because we know this has to be done within 180 days from the registration. So where the company has not done this, then in that case, the registrar will have the reasonable cause to believe that the company is not carrying on the business or the operations. Then the director may, the registrar may, without prejudice to the provisions in subsection 2, right? Which means, what does this mean? Without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 2. So without impacting the right of the registrar to impose this penalty, registrar can also take action, right? Initiate the action for the removal of the name of the company from the registrar of the companies. So registrar may then remove the name of the company. Okay. And right now, if you see, there are so many cases which are pending at the NCLT for the revival of the company because the companies had not filed this form and now registrar has removed the name of the company. They have striked off. Now the companies have gone to NCLT for the revival of the names of the company. Okay. Ronak has asked a question, sir, but anyone can create fake image and send it to ROC. So if you do that, you have this. You have this penal provision. Just see where a default is made in complying with the requirement. Now, what is the default? So either the information, कोई भी बातें झूठी नहीं हो, कोई भी बातें छूटी नहीं हो. So default is that. Then the company is liable to a penalty of 50,000 rupees, and then the officer who is in default will be liable to pay. Just see the amount of penalty, 1,000 rupees each day till the time the amount continues not exceeding to 1 lakh rupees. Okay. Yes, it allows to incorporate the dormant company. So just understand, shell company and dormant company are two different concepts. You incorporate a dormant company because the company is going to start some operations in future, somewhere in future. Or let's say you had incorporated the company, but at present the company is not doing the operations. So that's a dormant company. But shell company is what? shell company is considered to be a, so shell company is not defined anywhere in the law, but what essentially a shell company is, you have incorporated a company and this company is, there is no purpose for this company, यहाँ पे आप पैसा घुमा रहे हो, so this is seen with the tainted glass that there is something wrong happening here, right? So no doubt the nature of a dormant company, shell company will be same, but dormant company, you are telling to the ROC that yes, we are not going to commence our operation, we don't have any substantial business operations, right? So that's how we do. But in case of this, it is there. Ronak is saying, so basically anyone can do default by just paying maximum of 1 lakh rupees. Yes, you can say that. You can say that. But again, if you see, whatever amount you have invested in incorporating the company will also go off, because if the company is being incorporated with this intention, the company will also get wound up. The company's name will be striked off, not wound up. The company's name will be removed from the register of companies. So basically, the company will then cease to exist. So you can say this. So technically, you can also say that I can kill anyone and go for a 14-year jail. Anyone can jump a traffic signal, or anyone can roam around right now without wearing mask just by paying 2000. Right? ये कैसा इंटरप्रिटेशन हुआ? राइट? सो अगर आपको ऐसे बोला बिना मास्क के जा रहे हो तो 2000 का पेनल्टी है, तो आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि 2000 का पेनल्टी देके कोई भी बिना मास्क के घूमेगा. राइट? ये अच्छा इंटरप्रिटेशन था वैसे. वेरी गुड, अच्छा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनेगा. राइट? मैं तो बोलता हूँ साथ में लॉ भी कर लेना. अमेजिंग. क्लाइंट के लिए मस्त पैसे बचाएगा, बिकॉज लॉ का इंटरप्रिटेशन ऐसा ही होता है. लॉ का इंटरप्रिटेशन ऐसा ही होता है, बट दिस इज फाइन. एनीवे, लेट्स गो अहेड एंड डिस्कस द नेक्स्ट. बाय द वे, आई टेल यू, अगर आपको लॉ को मतलब अपने दिमाग में और सेट करना है, कुछ वैसे रखना है ना, सो जस्ट ट्राई टू क्रिएट सिचुएशंस इन योर माइंड. जस्ट ट्राई टू क्रिएट सिचुएशंस इन योर माइंड, एंड देन वो एक जैसे होता है ना, दिस इज, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू एक्सप्लेन दिस, बट आई हैव बीन डूइंग दिस कई बार. जैसे, हाउ टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. सो लेट्स से आई एम ट्रैवलिंग फ्रॉम मुंबई टू दिल्ली. ओके, it may sound very lame, okay, and it may look like कि सर क्या फालतू टाइम पास करते हो, but I'll tell you. So ये मैं आपको उस हिसाब से बता रहा हूँ कि लॉ के इंटरप्रिटेशंस के हिसाब से और वो सब चीज, जस्ट क्रिएट सिचुएशंस इन योर माइंड एंड देन ट्राई टू सी दैट, वो एक बोलता है ना वर्चुअल डिबेट अपने दिमाग में रखो कि अगर आप फॉर की तरफ हो तो आप क्या पॉइंट बोलोगे, टू की तरफ हो तो आप क्या पॉइंट बोलोगे, अगेंस्ट हो तो आप क्या बोलोगे. आ रहा है आपको समझ में? जैसे एक बहुत ही वियर्ड आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ, बहुत ही वियर्ड सा एग्जांपल. सपोज मैं मुंबई से दिल्ली जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है, एंड देन जस्ट क्रिएट अ सीन इन योर माइंड दैट कल को कुछ ऐसा कोई पुलिस केस हो जाए जहां पे आपको प्रूव करना पड़े दैट यस उस दिन आप दिल्ली में थे. ठीक है, हाउ विल यू प्रूव? आ रहा है आपको समझ में? व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स विल बी देयर? नो? ओके, जस्ट लीव इट नाउ. Maybe some other day when the right example is there, I'll explain it to you. So I do it this, that if let's say the company has defaulted, how will you prove it? How will you prove it? वो वाला चीज अगर आप अपने दिमाग में लाओगे ना, how will, because ultimately what is law? What does the lawyers do? They read the law, they put it in the situation and they try to convince. हाँ, आप एग्जाम्पल मेरे दिमाग में दृश्यम मूवी जैसा ही था, बट आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू से एग्जैक्टली दिस काइंड ऑफ अ सिचुएशन, बिकॉज हम कोई वो क्रिमिनल केस लॉ और वो सब नहीं कर रहे. बट मैं आपको ये बता रहा हूँ कि आपको लॉ को इंटरप्रेट करके इस तरह से रखना होगा कि कल को अगर इस तरह से हुआ तो आप कैसे कंपनी को डिफेंड करोगे, या अगर आपको सामने वाली कंपनी को आप चाहते हो कि सामने वाली कंपनी के ऊपर पेनल्टी लगे, तो आप कैसे पेनल्टी इंपोज करोगे? हाउ विल यू प्रूव दैट द अदर कंपनी इज गिल्टी एंड हाउ विल यू प्रूव दैट आई एम नॉट गिल्टी? आ रहा है आपको समझ में? सो दिस वे यू विल हैव टू. सो उसमें क्या होगा, उसमें आप लॉ को लाइव सिचुएशन में इंटरप्रेट करोगे कि हाँ ये इस तरह से था, राइट? सो that's how it works. That's how it will work. तो आप उसमें लॉ को ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ पाओगे और उसको अप्लाई ज्यादा अच्छे से कर पाओगे एप्लीकेशन, कि अगर ये नई बात, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली यू हैव टू प्रूव इट इन द आइज ऑफ लॉ दैट यस दिस हैड हैपेंड और दिस हैड नॉट हैपेंड, सो हाउ विल यू प्रूव दैट? सो वो आपको दिमाग, वो बोलते हैं ना कैसेट की तरह, साइड ए साइड बी दोनों तरफ दिमाग आपको चलाना होगा. ओके, जस्ट सी दिस. So we have done section 10A, right? So this I have given. So we had to start with today with the memorandum and the articles of association, but two sections was left yesterday. By mistake it was left, so I have covered it. Now we start with the memorandum of association. So we know the memorandum and the articles of association. These are the charter document. These are the charter document of the company. Every company will have the memorandum and the articles of association. So when I discuss the memorandum of association, what is MOA? When I discuss the memorandum of association, what is memorandum? Memorandum is basically providing you all the information about the company. It will provide you information about the company. Like what's the name of the company, right? Where is the company situated? What does the company do, etc. So all these things you are going to get it in the memorandum of association. And similarly in the articles of association, you will find information about the internal management, how the things will be done. So the question of how will be answered through the articles of association. Yes, the internal rules and regulations, correct Arti? So we can also say it contains the internal rules and regulations. We also say these are the bylaws of the company, right? In terms of hierarchy, who is superior, memorandum or articles? So the hierarchy is memorandum of association, and then you have the articles of association. The similar things you have studied in your, I'm sure you have studied in your foundation also. Memorandum, if the act goes beyond memorandum, this is ultra wires, and this is intra wires. When I say the act is ultra wires, this cannot be ratified. And when I say intra wires, this can be ratified. This also tells you the framework. This draws the framework of the company. कि एक company कितने दायरे में, किस दायरे में काम करेगा, that framework is given. But when we discuss here intra wires, so here we say the basically the powers, or you can say how, what is the relation between the company and its members, internal members, right? This will be determined in your articles of association, right? So let's read section 4. So section 4 deals with the memorandum. Section 5 is for the articles of association. And then you have section number 6, which deals with your memorandum articles, and basically it provides you the hierarchy, that which is superior, act is superior, then memorandum, and then articles, what we just discussed. So broadly we'll have to cover only these sections today. So let's see, you have section number 4, which says that the memorandum of the company shall state. So what does the memorandum of the company will state? It will state the name of the company, right? It shall state the name of the company, and the name of the company should last with the word limited in case it's a public limited company, and it should end with the word private limited if it's a private limited company. Okay, then again if you see, provided that nothing in this clause shall apply to a company registered under section 8, read it we had read it, that a section 8 company need not suffix, yes or no, it need not suffix the word limited or private limited at the end of the name. Therefore, next thing which you see, it should also mention the state in which the registered office of the company is situated. Now just remember, it is the state. A lot of time people believe that this is uh, your, how do I say, the registered office of the company, right? But this is going to be your registered office. Just see, it is only the state and not the address. Also, it should contain the objects for which the company is proposed to be incorporated. So what is the object of the company? Why the company is getting incorporated, which will be mentioned there. Thereafter, it will also contain the liability of the member. What is going to be the liability of the member? So Vineet, if you remember, what amount is to be paid? The monies. So monies will be paid as per this. So this is liability. Whether the liability is limited or the liability is unlimited. And then also state the following. In case of a company which is limited by shares, that the liability of the member is limited to the amount unpaid. Right. So as we had already discussed, the what is a company limited by shares? So company limited by shares is when the liability is limited to the only amount unpaid on the shares which are held by them. The shares which are held by them, only that. And in case of a company which is limited by guarantee, the company which is limited by guarantee, it would be the amount up to which the person has undertaken the guarantee that he is going to contribute to the company, right? And when he is going to contribute to the assets of the company, he is going to contribute to the assets of the company in the event the company is being wound up while he is still the member, or within 1 year after he ceases to be the member. So just see one particular peculiar thing. Even if you become or you cease to be the member of a company which is limited by guarantee for 1 year, you are still at the risk. You may still be made to pay for the debts and the liabilities of the company. So it's not that you, as soon as you have, so if I have transferred my partly paid up share, still I'll be liable to pay this, right? Or such debts, right? Or such debts and liabilities as may have been contracted before he ceases to be the member of the company. One, and to the cost charges, okay, to the cost and to the charges and the expenses of the winding up for adjustment of the rights of the contributees amongst themselves. So if after distributing all the assets, after distributing the assets and paying off all the liabilities, let's say some 10 lakh rupees is left. From this 10 lakh, still some amount can be deducted. The liquidator would say, no, there are charges for this winding up. You need to pay that also. So we'll charge it from you. So let's say the assets realized, let's say 20 lakhs. The liabilities were, let's say 12 lakh rupees, right? So technically, what amount should be paid to the shareholders? The shareholders should be paid 8 lakh rupees. But from this 8 lakh rupees, they'll say, no, we will further deduct the expenses which have been incurred for winding up. Let's say this was 2 lakh rupees. So you will not get 8 lakh, you will get 6 lakh rupees. Okay. This is going to be mentioned in the memorandum of association. Is this clear? Guys, is this clear? Okay. Further, in case of a company which has share capital, the amount, okay, in case of the company having share capital, the amount of share capital with which, so this is basically the capital clause. This is the capital clause, which is going to mention the amount of capital with which the company is to be registered, right? Ronak is saying, sir, can you explain the 1 year wala point again? Sure. So just see this. if you are a member of a company which is limited by guarantee, okay, then the amount up to which each member undertakes to contribute. So when you incorporate a company which is limited by guarantee, so let's say you are a member. So Ronak, you have given a guarantee that you are going to contribute, let's say 3 lakh rupees to the company if the company wounds up. So when the company is into the winding up stage, okay, or when the winding up order is being passed, you are the member of the company. You are going to distribute. You are going to contribute this 3 lakh rupees. Yes or no? You are going to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of being wound up while you are still the member. The second part discusses that, let's say you have sold the shares, Ronak, you have sold the shares, let's say to Ujwal. Now in this case, can you say that no, now the shares belong to Ujwal. So whatever liability is there, the liability is of Ujwal. I am not going to contribute anything. So here answer is no. So here you'll have within 1 year. Within 1 year, after he ceases to be the member for the payments of the debts and the liabilities of the company. Okay. Even after he ceases to be the member. So for 1 year, still the liability will be there. Okay. Let's see this. Then, so this is basically the capital clause. This is the name clause. So this is your name clause. This is your situation clause. Okay. What is this? This is your object clause. This is your liability clause. Then this is your capital clause. So you need to mention with what amount of capital the company is getting registered. So what amount of domicile clause beneath is same. The registered office, the situation clause, or you can say domicile clause. This is one and the same thing. So you get your domicile certificate. What does that mean? That you are situated in the state of Maharashtra, right? So this is what. So this is the capital clause. You are going to mention what is the amount of capital with which the company is registered. And then you will also have to mention the division thereof into the shares of the fixed amount and the number of shares which the subscriber to the memorandum agrees to subscribe, which shall not be less than 1 share. So entire this clause explains what? So your capital clause should mention what is going to be your authorized share capital. Thereafter, it should also mention what is the face value of the share. It should also mention what is the number of shares. Then you will also have to mention that the minimum number of shares, minimum number of shares to be subscribed will be 1. Okay, so I'll highlight the points. So the amount of share capital is your authorized share capital. When I again say, not red in color, when I say fixed amount, so it's talking about the face value. Okay. Then the number of shares is again same. Thereafter, the number of shares which shall not be less than one. So this is again mentioned. So I don't need to highlight this. Then the number of shares which each subscriber intends to take indicated opposite to his name. And in case of OPC company, so this is the nominee clause. This particular, oh, this point number F, this is going to be the nominee clause. Got it? Is this clear? And nominee clause only in case of OPC. अगर OPC है तो नहीं. Okay. So this is all to be mentioned there. And basically this is what is the subscriber clause. यहाँ पे लिखा नहीं है, but I'll write it. That this is what? This is your subscriber clause. Who all are going to subscribe the shares. Okay. So that's how you have the 7 clauses, including the, so basically it shall have all the 6 clauses. What are the different clauses? You have name clause, the domicile clause or the situation clause, then the object clause, then you will mention about the capital clause, rather liability and then capital, but it is okay. The liability clause and the subscriber clause. Then you will have the 7th clause, which is the nominee clause. This is in in case of OPC. Now just understand one thing, that when you change this, this is what? This is not considered as alteration. Do you remember now? This is not considered as alteration of memorandum. But if you are going to change any of these, it will be the alteration of memorandum. And if it's the alteration of memorandum, you have a separate piece. Technically, the subscriber clause cannot be altered. Okay. These will be altered. Liability can be altered. Capital can be altered. This can be altered. Even this, even this. Subscriber clause cannot be altered. So as I say, this is a permanent part. So either you replace the entire memorandum of association, otherwise this is permanent. Okay. Let's go now and discuss what is there. Then they say the name stated in the memorandum shall not be, okay. So the name which is stated in the memorandum shall not be identical with or resemble to nearly to the name of the existing company which are registered under this act or any of the previous company law. So I'll tell you, at present I had to create a limited liability partnership. So the provisions are same. So there are 3 partners. One whose name starts with A, another whose name starts with R, and the third person whose name starts with P. So we wanted to create this LLP. And they suggested this name. So ARP and whatever healthcare was the ARP healthcare. So this they wanted to incorporate. Now, when I filed for the name reservation, the form which I filed for name reservation, they mentioned that this name reservation, basically this will not be allowed. this ARP will not be allowed because ARP is already a registered company. Do you understand? It was identical to a registered company. So they said that if you want, you can change some other name. So from ARP, we changed and we made it this way, PAR. Okay, PAR Healthcare. Do you understand? So if your name is identical and if it is resembles too much to the existing company, then in that case, you will not be allowed to incorporate the company. Then it will be such that the use of the company will constitute an offense under the law of time being enforced and it is undesirable. So the name should not be identical. The name should not constitute as an offense. So like certain names you cannot use, national emblems and all those things, and it should not be undesirable, right? Then without prejudice to subsection 2, a company shall not be registered with a name which contains any word or expression which is likely to give an impression in any way or having the patronage of the central government, state government, local authority, corporation, or which is a body which is constituted by the central government or state government under any law for time being in force, and such other words and expressions as may be prescribed, unless the prior approval of central government has been obtained for the use of such expressions. So I have a best example in this. I always say there are two friends, Mohan Sarkar and Hari Sarkar. They both want to incorporate a company like this, MH Sarkar Private Limited. Now, what does this indicate? What does this indicate? This gives the impression that this company belongs to Maharashtra government. So again, this will not be allowed. This will not be allowed. Okay. So you cannot have MH Sarkar Private Limited. Okay. Is this clear? You cannot have this. Thereafter, just see, a person may make an application in such form and manner accompanied by such fees as may be prescribed to the registrar for the reservation of the name. So as I said, you have to name register. You want to reserve the name of the company. So the name of the proposed company or the name with which the company is proposed to. So basically this is for the new company and this is for the existing company. Okay. This is for the existing company, that company's name is something and you want to change. So you can go to the registrar, you can make an application to the registrar and then you can reserve the name. You can reserve the name which is set out in the application. So as I said, for Par Life Care, right? Par Life Care or Par Healthcare, I had to file the application and I said that I want to reserve the name with this. They said no, it is not allowed. So I filed this. They asked me that if you want to suggest some other name, you can file that. So I gave this name, Par Life Care, and they agreed to this. Okay. So your name gets registered here. No, you cannot. No, no, no. You cannot reserve two names. You only have to get reserve. You can reserve only one name. You cannot reserve more than one name, right? Only one name will be allowed, right? Then see, upon the receipt of an application under subsection 4, the registrar may, on the basis of the information and documents furnished along with the application, it will reserve the name and the name will be reserved for a period of 20 days from the date of approval or such other period as may be prescribed. So it is 20 days. Okay. So within 20 days, you'll have to incorporate the company or basically file the Spice Plus form for the incorporation of the company. If within 20 days you do not do, then in that case, the name will be taken off, right? The reservation is not there. So some other person can come and incorporate the name company with that name. Then it says that provided that in case of application for the reserve of the name or for the change by the existing company, the registrar may reserve the name for a period of 60 days from the date of approval. So registrar may, but again the application has to be given. The registrar may keep it for 60 days, but otherwise you have only 20 days. Okay. Earlier it was 60 days this 20 what you're reading here, earlier it was 60 days. But then government realized, I think not even 60 days, it was 3 months. What I don't exactly remember. It was 3 months. So earlier it was allowed that you can reserve the name for 60 days, or I think it was 3 months exactly. But a long duration was given. So people used to block the name and then either they not used to incorporate the company or something. Now it has been found that no, they've given 20 days. Within 20 days you incorporate the company, or else the name reservation will be gone. Also, where after reservation of the name, it is found that the name was applied by furnishing a wrong or incorrect information, then the company, if the company has not been incorporated, the name reserved will be cancelled. And also the person who has made the application, the penalty will be imposed on such person, which may extend up to 1 lakh rupees. Also, if the company is incorporated, the registrar may, after giving the reasonable opportunity of being heard, direct the company to change the name within a period of 3 months, or take action to strike off the name of the company from the registrar of company, or make a petition for the winding up. So either of the three action can take place. Okay. So you don't have to furnish. So basically, I had to provide a reason why I want to keep this name. Why I want to keep this name PAR. So I mentioned that PAR represents the name of the three partners, PAR. So whatever their name was. So I mentioned their name and I said, these are the three partners, and the PAR is the abbreviation of the three names. If let's say sometimes it's a uh, vernacular language which you have used, right? जैसे you can say, कोई भी आप यहाँ पे आप vernacular language में उठा लो, जैसे आपने कोई गुजराती टर्म यहाँ पे रखा है, उसके नाम पे आपने रखा, तो you have to explain that in Gujarati what this term means, or if let's say it's a Marathi term, right? तो वो आपको यहाँ पे रखना है, right? So you have to mention what it is, right? So you have to provide all those informations there. So if you don't provide that information, or if you provide an incorrect information, then this is the consequence. So either the company, if it has not been incorporated, then the company will not be incorporated with that name, and the name reserved will be cancelled. Also, if the company is incorporated, then the registrar can either direct the company कि अपना नाम change करो आफ्टर पासिंग द स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन। ये आप ध्यान रखना, क्योंकि अदरवाइज नाम चेंज करने के लिए आपको स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन चाहिए, बट यहाँ पर बोलेंगे स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन का जरूरत नहीं, ऑर्डिनरी रेजोल्यूशन से नाम चेंज करो, या फिर आपके कंपनी को स्ट्राइक ऑफ कर दिया जाएगा रजिस्टर ऑफ कंपनी से, या फिर petition will make petition for the winding up. Then the memorandum of the company shall be in the respective tables, table A, B, C, D, E, द शेड्यूल वन। तो ये अलग अलग कंपनीज के लिए रहते हैं, अलग अलग टाइप्स का, सो दिस इज फाइन। एंड देन अ कंपनी इन द मेमोरेंडम, एनी प्रोविजन इन द मेमोरेंडम एंड द आर्टिकल्स, राइट, इफ इट इज basically in case of a company which is limited by guarantee not having share capital purporting to give any right to person to participate in the divisible profits of the company otherwise than as the member shall be void. Now what does this mean? It means that, see, if you're a company with a limited by shares, if the company is limited by shares, then in that case the profits belong to the member of the company, right? If the company is limited by guarantee and it has a share capital, so share capital again it is there, but if it does not have the share capital, then in that case you cannot contain any provision in the memorandum and the articles that okay, a fixed amount will be paid to the person who has given the guarantee, right? Let's say Ronak says, I give a guarantee that I will contribute 30 lakh rupees when the company is wound up, but I need 1% of 30 lakh every year, right? So again, this will be what? This will be void. So you cannot pay like this. You'll be paid as a member of the company, where you can say that if the company earns profit, dividend is distributed, you can get the dividend, but you cannot keep it like this as a fixed amount मेरे को हर साल pay करना ही पड़ेगा. So if you put these kind of conditions, then it will be what? It will be void. Guys, clear? Guys, is this clear? ये provision other than member आपको कोई भी provision नहीं रखना है payment के लिए. Then let's see, we have this. So ये मैंने क्या किया है, this I have cropped. This is the most amended part, right? So इसमें बहुत अच्छे से इंस्टीट्यूट ने इंस्टीट्यूट इन द सेंस मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर ने काफी अच्छे से यहाँ पे चीजों को इंक्लूड कर दिया था. एंड दे हैव सेड दैट with the illustration they have mentioned that how the uh, ROC is going to determine that the name resembles with the existing company. So they said that if the name is there with the plural singular form, then again it is. Or let's say the form company. So as I said, ARP was the limited liability partnership which I wanted to incorporate, but ARP was already registered as a company. So it is disallowed that you cannot incorporate, right? So a company, private limited company. So you cannot say that's a private limited company and mine is LLP. So the name is different. Still, it will not be considered there. Then again, see, if you just have plural or singular forms, like Green Technology Limited is same as Greens Technology is same as Greens Technologies Limited. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is how it resembles. Pratap Technology is same as Pratap's Technology is same as Pratap's Technologies Limited. But SMS Computer Limited is not same as SMS. So this, sorry, SM Computer Limited, but will not be considered same as SMS Computer Limited because here SM and here SMS will have some different full forms. Okay. These two may have different full forms. SM may have a different full form. SMS may have a different full form. So you cannot say it is same. Guys, this is clear. Guys, this is clear, right? So I've included this. It will be actually a fun time for you to read, right? You can go through these illustrations and very, very easy. So I've included in the slide itself so that you can go through. Same way. So if I keep the name by Modi, yes, you can keep. There is no problem. You can keep the name by Modi. So let's say your surname is, let's presume your surname is not Ronak Gala. Your surname is Ronak Modi and you want to incorporate, there is no problem. There is no problem. Okay. Then we have this. नहीं रौनक नहीं हुआ क्लियर ये आपको प्रूव करना होगा ना आप मोदी क्यों रख रहे हो I am not saying so you'll have to provide the reason why you want to keep this name why you want to keep this name रीजन देना पड़ेगा आपको ये आपको रीजन देना पड़ेगा no 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 see the reason does not come like this reason has to be that जो बिजनेस आप करोगे उसका इस नाम से क्या कनेक्शन है आपको वो बताना होगा या फिर प्रमोटर्स कुछ ऐसे करके what type of reason तो वही मैं बता रहा हूँ ना either it's the promoters of the company or you can say it's the name of the promoters of the company the founders of the company or you can say it's the family name or you can say business मतलब business में कुछ है so ये रीजन नहीं जाएगा रहेगा that you admire him so you want to keep the name as Modi I think इसमें इशू आएगा there is no law which says that you cannot keep but इसमें इशू आएगा okay then same way if you incorporate ABC Limited or you incorporate A.B.C Limited or you incorporate A space B space C Limited these three are same so Teamwork Limited or you say team at the rate work limited or you say team hyphen limited this is also same right then Speak English Solutions Limited is same as Spoken English Solution Limited okay then again see BK Limited is same as BK Limited is same as BK Limited same as BK Limited BK Limited BK Limited BK Limited अब देखो this is all same right like Ultra Solutions Limited is same as ultrasolutions.com Limited but if you say Supreme Ultra Solutions is not same as ultrasolutions.com so यहाँ पे name में different है same way Ravi Builders and Contractors Limited is same as Ravi Contractors and Builders Limited, right? But yes, there is a difference between Ravi Builders Contractors and Ravi Shankar Builders and Contractors. Here there is difference. Okay. So same way this way. Isha Industries Limited is not same as Anisha. There is a difference. But this will be considered as same. Cognial tours, a cognial tours, the cognial tours. This is same. Because here Isha and Anisha, it's not that you have just added AN. So if you see Isha and Anisha में difference क्या? You cannot say Anisha is an Isha. Got it? You cannot say Anisha is an Isha. Anisha is a name, Isha is a name. So again, you cannot say both are same. Guys, this is clear? Like Surender, you cannot say is surrender, right? Surender Kumar Sharma, you cannot say he is Surrender Kumar Sharma, right? So there is a difference. It has a meaning, right? So just see, Color Technology Limited is Color Technologies Limited. Both are same. Now, disk solution, disco, but disco solution is different. We say disk and disco is same, but again, here there is a difference. Same way, National Electricity Corporation is same as Rashtriya Vidyut Nigam. But if I say Hike Construction Limited, this is not Hike. Why? Because again, if you see government company, so if you see these are some of the names, it will be very easy for you to read. Okay, it will be fun to go ahead. Yes, Vineet, spelling difference. So of course, yes, there will be a problem. There will be a problem. This may resemble. Objections will be raised. No, win it is different. Win it and Vineet is different. Win it and Vineet is different. So if you say Win it private limited, Khelo Dimag se, or you say Vineet private limited. Now these are different. The pronunciation may be same, but actually the name and everything is different. Vineet. You not say Vineet. You know, you're going for the game. You won't say go Vineet, right? You say go win it. There is a difference in win it and Vineet. But anyway, if you see there is a difference. But yes, good. These kind of illustrations you'll definitely find there. And I'll tell you, you can also check the website. So the best thing I always admire is you can go and check the website of MCA, and in the MCA service, you can do this. So this is that form, run LLP form, right? Reserve your name. Same way you have this, reserve your name. So no, you cannot do. You need a ID password. No, then there will not be a problem. Yash has asked if the company's name contradicts with the name of a foreign company. Then you'll have to see whether the foreign company's name is registered under the trademark or not. If the company is registered under the trademark, then there will be a problem. So, okay, I'll do one thing. Since I have the ID password here, so I'll put it. Okay. I think I can show you this. Let's see. I'll show you how it works. So let's go to MCA services, run unique name. Okay. Okay. Fine. So you want to say proposed name of the company. Okay. So when it private limited auto check. So it will say no. So I need to mention this is for the CIN for the existing company. Just 1 minute. Okay. Let's come here. new incorporation, right? So just see, when it LLP. So this will tell you after some time, this will tell you that, okay, based on the preliminary check, there is no problem, right? So same way, when I did this ARP Life Care, I did this LLP. So if you see this, it is doing this. So again, so this is what had happened with me when I filed ARP. But then later on, they said that no, there is a problem. So Par Life Care, now see, this will not be allowed. No, it is saying based on preliminary check, there is no problem. But then they also say that you'll have a problem. But now if you read it here, what it says, the name of the proposed company for your LLP is subject to this. Now before applying, just check whether the name is not registered. Basically the name which you want, it should not resemble a trademark, right? It should not resemble the name of a trademark or this. So I cannot say that I want to keep the company as this Apple Computer LLP. I cannot put this. So when I'll put this, so preliminary check, they are saying there is no problem here, but just understand that if I put Apple Computer, then there will be a problem. I cannot keep the name as Google LLP. If I keep this, I don't know if they say that this is also fine, then there will be a based on preliminary check, they are saying yes to everything. But then when actually you will file, you'll get it. Right? They'll send you the objection that no, this name is resembling to the existing company, hence the name should be changed. Okay. Anyway, just go ahead with this. So same thing is there. The name will be undesirable if it covers any national emblem, okay, or if it is contradicting with any trademark, right, includes the word or words which are offensive to any section of the people. So like I cannot say this is actually a racist statement, but I'm just making it to give the example, right? I'm just giving an example like this. I cannot say chinky tea. This is offensive. Generally, even I'm from Northeast, right? My domicile is from Northeast. So I know this is an offensive term. This is an offensive term. So you cannot say Chinky Tea Limited. So this will be again offensive. So this will be considered as an undesirable. Okay. Guys, this is clear. Just to give you an example, you cannot have these kind of the names. Then again, if it proposes or resemble to the existing name of a limited liability partnership, then also it cannot. It as resembles to any other company or name which has been already reserved. Or if, just see this, if the name main business of the company is for financing, leasing, chit fund, investments, securities, all these things, then they'll also have to, their name should not be resembling the existing chit fund, investment or loan company. Okay. Then the company, if it is there, so you cannot use ABC investments, whereas your objective is to teach the people. Nemin is asking चिंकी का क्या मतलब होता है? Actually नॉर्थ ईस्ट के जो डोमिसाइल्ड उनकी आंखें छोटी छोटी होती है, so that's how they say चिंकी, right? छोटी आंखें. So दिल्ली में ये ज्यादा रेसिज्म होता है, बहुत ज्यादा रेसिज्म होता है. I was there in 10 years in Delhi, so I've seen, and lot of my friends also. नहीं, देर इज अ डिफरेंस. बाय द वे नेमिन जो आपने लिखा है मैं उसको रीड आउट नहीं करूंगा, बट ये भी एक तरह का रेसिज्म है. सो दिस इज विल आल्सो बी अनडिजायरेबल. ठीक है. ओके, सो दिस इज देयर. सो अगर आप अपने कंपनी के नाम पे रख रहे हो एबीसी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, जबकि आपका काम क्या है, बोला एडुकेशन, तो बोला इन्वेस्टमेंट नाम क्यों रखा? बोला एडुकेशन भी तो आज की तरह का एक तरह का इन्वेस्टमेंट ही है. यू एडुकेट द यूथ, सो दैट इज द इन्वेस्टमेंट फॉर द कंपनी कंट्री. उठा के डंडा मारेगा आरओसी, बोलेगा नो, आपका नाम में इन्वेस्टमेंट मत रखो, फिर एडुकेशन रखो, बिकॉज इन्वेस्टमेंट नाम से एक गलत इंप्रेशन जा रहा है. जस्ट सी दैट, इफ यू हैव सीन दैट मूवी चुप चुप के, उसमें वो देखते हैं आरओसी से फ्लाइंग चप्पल मिलेगा. सो इफ यू सी दैट, चुप चुप के मूवी देखा है, शीतल से लड़ाई करना है, राइट? वो आगे आ जाता है राजपाल यादव, मैं लड़ाई करूंगा, और बाद में पता चलता है शीतल लड़की नहीं कोई लड़का है. तो फिर बोलता है ये कैसे कैसे नाम रखते हो आप यार, समझ में नहीं आता. सो दैट इज द थिंग, यू कैन नॉट डू दैट. सो परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल हियर, राइट? सो ऑल दिस इज देयर. जस्ट गिव अ रीडिंग, nothing you have to relate. It's nothing that you have to read it and understand it well. Just give a reading, this will be easy. So I've included everything here, right? अब जैसे ये वाले वर्डिंग्स है, अगर आप अपने नाम में, कंपनी के नाम पे, if you're including any of these words, you need to take prior approval of the government, like board, commission, authority, undertaking, right? All these things, right? So this is there. Now we have section number 5, which discusses about the articles of the company. So articles of the company shall contain the regulations and the management of the company. The articles must also contain the matters as may be prescribed. So this is basically your schedule 1. Nothing contained in this subsection shall be deemed to be prevent the company from including the additional matters. So we have in schedule 1, right, we have a draft articles of association. So you can keep additional matters also, but you can have, this is again, you should have all these things. Then the articles may contain the provisions of entrenchment to the effect that the specified powers of the articles may be altered only if the conditions or the procedures that are more restrictive than those applicable in that case of a special resolution are met. So you can say, let's say, to alter the object clause. So entrenchment provisions, I will again explain you, right? The entrenchment provisions again I'll explain you, but just understand, we know that to pass an ordinary resolution, you need a simple majority. To pass a special resolution, you need 3/4. Okay. And this is 50 plus. Now, let's say you want to alter the object clause of the company. So if you want to alter the object clause of the company, you need to pass the special resolution. This is given in the Companies Act. What you can include in your articles of association with this entrenchment clause, that if the company will have to alter the object clause, even though the Companies Act says 3/4, we say that 90% of the approval would be needed. If 90% of the approval is received, only then the object clause will be amended. So let's say if 80% of them agree for the object clause amendment, then is the resolution passed? Answer is no. Because of this entrenchment clause, you have made it 90%. Okay. Okay. Is this clear? So entrenchment clause is basically including more restricting provisions or such conditions which are more restrictive than those are applicable to the special resolution. Then the provisions of entrenchment referred to in subsection 3 shall only be either on the formation of the company. So how you can include this entrenchment clause? So two ways you can do this. One is, let's say the company is a new company. So if it's a new company, then at the time of incorporation you can do. And if it is, let's say, an existing company, then again you need to pass the resolution. Now, if you are an existing company, you must be a private company or you are a public company. So if you are a private company, then all members should agree. And if you are a public company, then you need to pass a special resolution, and then you can include the entrenchment provision. Okay. You can include the entrenchment provision here. Okay. Then where the articles contain the provisions for entrenchment, whether made on the formation or on the amendment, the company will have to give the notice to the registrar for such provisions. So entrenchment provisions, if you include, you need to tell it to the registrar. And this is the rule which is there, that where the article contains the provisions for entrenchment, the company shall give notice to the registrar in which form? In form INC2 or the Spice Plus form. Now, do you understand where form INC2 will be needed and where Spice Plus? Do I need to explain this? Do I need to explain this? Spice Plus form when it is a new company, okay? And form INC2 when it is an existing company. Guys, clear? Guys, clear? And then also you see, you have form MGT14. I said you, whenever special resolution is passed, you need to file MGT14 to the ROC. So this is there. Then the articles shall be in the respective forms, which is given in schedule 1. Then the articles may adopt any of the regulations which are contained in that model regulation. Then in case of a company which is registered, so this is basically fine, transitional provision is there. And then nothing in this contained shall apply to the articles registered under the previous law. So this is all fine. So these are the transitional provisions you don't need to worry about. Then we have section 6, which says that save as otherwise expressly provided in this act, the provisions of this act shall have an effect notwithstanding anything contained in the memorandum or articles of the company or in any agreement which is executed by it or any resolution passed by the company in the general meeting or by the board of directors, whether the same is registered, executed, passed, or as the case may be before or after the commencement of this act. What does this mean? What does this mean? That it is the Companies Act which is going to supreme. No agreement can go beyond the provisions of Companies Act. Okay. No company can go beyond the provisions of Companies Act. No agreement. You cannot have a clause in the memorandum of association which will be beyond the Companies Act. If you pass that agreement, it is what? It is all void. So any provision contained in the memorandum or articles or agreement or any resolution to the extent which is repugnant to the provisions of the act, contradicting to the act, it will become what? It will become void. Okay. Guys, this is clear? Guys, is this clear? So any provision which is contradicting, this will become void, right? Then we have the doctrine of ultra vires. So in case of doctrine of ultra vires, what does it say? That if anything is contained in the memorandum of association, right, and the company does beyond that, so in that case it will be ultra vires. So when in case of a company, whatever is not stated, just understand this, whatever is not stated in the memorandum as the objects or the power which will be prohibited by the doctrine of the ultra vires, which says that an act which is ultra vires is what? It is void and it does not bind the company. So neither the company nor the contracting party can sue. The company cannot make it valid even with all the members agreeing or giving assent to it. Okay. The general rule is that an act which is ultra vires to the company is incapable of ratification. Okay. And an act which is intra vires the company but beyond the authority of the directors, that can be again worked out. So intra vires, ultra vires, this is there, right? Then an act which is ultra vires to the directors only the shareholders can ratify, but if it is ultra vires the articles of association, the company can alter the articles, but if it is ultra vires the company, then it cannot be done. So the Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company versus Ritchie, in this case it had happened. So this is the same case you did it in the foundation, right? So I'll not repeat this case because I'm sure this case will not be asked in your intermediate level, but this is the provision that the company had executed a contract which was again ultra vires to the company. Then the company said that we don't want to go ahead with this contract. Then the person with whom the contract was made, that's Ritchie, he filed a case against the company that company has not the company, for the breach of contract, that how can the company withdraw? The company said that this is not within the powers of the company. And then Richie said that no, one of the clause says general contractor, so it is allowed. So basically what company had done, it had financed, then said that no, will not provide you the finance. So that was the case. Okay. Then similarly, you have doctrine of indoor management. So indoor management protects the outsiders from insider, and doctrine of ultra vires protects the insiders from the outsiders. Okay. So these are the provisions. Again, doctrine of indoor management, it says that the person who is contracting with the company need not get into the details of the internal rules and regulations. He just needs to see the broad parameters. So if the broad parameters of the company is getting fulfilled, then he's believed that everything is in place and he can enter into contract. Later on, if some irregularity is found inside the company, within the company or the resolution, he cannot say, it cannot be said that the director is liable or the person is liable, or it is not binding the company. It will still bind the company. So the internal irregularities cannot make the contract invalidate which the company has entered. Okay. Let's say the director, take one example. Let's say the director was not authorized, right? Or he was authorized for, let's say, 10 lakh rupees, but he entered into contract for, let's say, 15 lakh rupees. Now the company cannot say that no, we will not take into consideration the contract for 15 lakh. We'll take into consideration only for 10 lakh because he was authorized. So that's because the other party would say, he's your director. I believed him, right? If you had authorized him, now you cannot say that you cannot, you'll not take into consideration this 15 lakh rupees, right? आपने 15 लाख का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यहाँ पे एक डायरेक्टर, आपके डायरेक्टर के साथ मैंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया, अब वो ऑथोराइज नहीं था, इसमें मेरा गलती नहीं है, यहाँ पे डायरेक्टर की गलती है कि उसने मुझे ये बात नहीं बताया. हाँ, if I had known about this fact and still I have entered, then it will not bind the company. But I just have to see reasonably what is there. So your articles of association says that if you contract with the company, the director is authorized to do all the acts. Now through your resolution you did this. Now I don't have access to that resolution. Just understand one more thing, that the memorandum of association and the articles of association is a public document. Just understand. Yes. So as per the memorandum, the outsider must have the knowledge. Yes. So it must have been read. It is presumed that it is read. Okay. It must have been read and it is presumed that you have read it. So that's what I'm trying to say here, that articles and memorandum are the public documents. So you have read it. But other irregularities, not necessary that you have update about it. And in that case, you cannot say that it is going to bind the other party. Okay. Now I wanted to show you. Yes. No, it's not there. That file is not there. Otherwise, I will show you. If you go to the ROC website, right? If you go to the, okay, so this is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website. I think I'll be auto signed out. So here you have view public documents. So right now I'll be, yes. So you can just write the name of the company and you can do that. So I can write it, let's say Reliance Industries Limited, right? It is in the state of Maharashtra. So it will ask me which document. So this is Reliance Industries. I'll click here. Then they'll ask you what I want, which document. So I'll say I want incorporation documents, or I would say I want to see any document, annual return and balance sheets. Then it will ask me for which year I want. So I'll say I want it for 2015, submit. So they'll provide that these are the documents. Same way I would say I want to see the certificates. So again it will ask. So just see memorandum of satisfaction of charge and all you'll find. If I say incorporation document, So now if you see, you don't have any material before 2006. Remember, I said you about Premchand Gupta, MCA. Remember? So ये देखो 2006 से पहले का आपको नहीं मिलेगा डेटा. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके लिए आपको फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन करना होगा. यू कैन नॉट डू ऑनलाइन वेरिफिकेशन. बाकी आप यहाँ पे कुछ भी कर लो, कोई भी डेटा आप यहाँ पे उठा लो, आपको मिल जाएगा. You'll file all the forms, all these forms. So जैसे हम शॉपिंग करते हैं, I'll have to add this to the cart of the company. जो भी चाहिए, I'll have to add it to the cart of the company. So I've added, and then I'll have to pay for it, and I can view the public document. So memorandum and articles, you have to read it. Okay. Exception इसके यही है that if you were aware of the irregularity, or if it was your negligence, or the signature was forged, then you are not. So basically, then it will not bind the company. Otherwise, it is going to bind the company. Okay, guys, clear? So this is what we covered. Now I will also tell you, sometimes the company enters into the shareholder agreement, right? Take it this way. This is not for your exam, but an important concept. I'm explaining it to you. So you have Reliance Industries. You have Mr. Mukesh Ambani. Okay. And let's say it is Yash. Now, Mukesh Ambani enters into a shareholder agreement with Yash. Okay. Mukesh Ambani enters into a shareholder agreement with Yash for Reliance Industries. Now, who has signed the agreement? The agreement is signed by Mr. Ambani and Yash. Will this agreement bind the company? Will this shareholder agreement bind the company? Will this agreement bind the company? So just understand, this shareholder agreement will bind the company. Yes, if it is made part of articles of association. Bind the company and also the members. Yes, if it is made part of the articles of association. If it is not made part of the articles of association, then in that case, if it is not made part of, then it is not going to bind the company or the members. Do you understand? Do you understand? Ronak, no, these are permanently with you. Once you download, so basically you are allowed to view these documents and then you can download it. So after that, these documents belong to you. So you are free to do whatever you want. Okay. So I had some query, right? So what I did, so basically with one of my intern, we had a interpretational issue. So what we did, we downloaded the form. So just see, we downloaded the form, and while we downloaded this form, we got to know what is the issue here. So just see, this is the form. I'm sorry, let me just show you. So we downloaded this form, right? And we had some query. What should be here? So we downloaded and we got it clear. So this form I had downloaded of Infosys. So this is there. Got it? We had a buyback word work, and in that buyback work, we were not sure. It was all related to the attachments, what needs to be filed, what not, and all those things. So we did that. So we saw and just see. Okay. So you get that, and it's permanently yours. once you pay the fee. Okay, but you have to download it. You have to download it. They give you some time. Within that time period, you need to download all the files. Okay. All right, then that's it for today's lecture. So as I said, we are done with the memorandum and the articles of association. Next lecture, we will start with, now this is important for your intermediate level. This deals with the alterations of the memorandum of association and the articles of association. Tomorrow we don't have a lecture. We'll meet directly day after tomorrow. Okay. So till then, take care. Bye bye.